Hey, you. Yeah, you. Welcome to a space created for you by a mother. Now, while we are all very different and we have our own way of doing and handling parenting, there is one main thing that we share. One main thing that I think joins us together in that special kind of way. We are all on this journey of motherhood. So, put in your AirPods, turn up the volume in your car, or expand your window to full screen. And join us as we laugh, overshare, and get real about this journey of motherhood. This is Motherhood Unfiltered. Okay. Oh my goodness. We are here.
We're here.
Episode 2 of This is Motherhood Unfiltered. So this episode, I wanted to change it up a bit. Okay. I wanted to get a little bit of a different perspective. Mm-hmm. And today we're going to talk about what is motherhood from a father's perspective. And they're also sons because they had to come from a mother, right? So with that being said, let me introduce my guests. We're going to start with my boo, my ride or die, the father to my foe, and definitely no more, Sharon, and my boo of 15 years. This is my husband, Brian.
Let's go.
And my second guest, who has been a part of our lives for 5 years?
Yeah, just about, yeah.
Jesus.
Gosh.
5 years. 5 years, y'all. And
it's like yesterday, but it's like forever at the same time.
Yeah. Like,
wow.
Who, what? Man. Okay. So 5 years. He has 3 children of his own.
Yes.
And a wife.
And maybe one more. We'll see.
Stop. Welcome to the 4 and no more club.
4 would definitely be no more.
Man, that's a lot of kids. Anyways, so with that being said, moving into, so I posted a question on my social media, and to my surprise, there was no male responses. Mm. Nobody that has seen their mother, nobody that has seen their spouse. So I'm going to pose the question to you too.
Is it multiple choice?
It is not multiple choice.
Which one is the right answer?
Which one will keep you?
That's right. That's right.
So my question is, when you hear the word motherhood, Christian, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? The first thing.
The first thing that comes to my mind, when I hear motherhood, I automatically look at, or I'm drawn to like my wife's, just my wife, right? And like how she does life. And really I think what hits me when I see the way my wife does motherhood is it's sacrifice.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a sacrifice. She sacrifices her sleep. She sacrifices her time, even self-care. Like, she sacrifices for the sake of her kids. Yeah. And I don't get it. It's not in my, like she's like constantly going and she's like exhausted. I'm like, stop and rest. She's like, I can't. The kids have this next thing. And I'm like, but I can stop and rest. She's like, you don't get it. You're not a mother.
Right.
And what I realize is God did make us differently. And so for me, I realized that my wife gives a lot of sacrifice in areas that I don't necessarily understand.
Yeah.
And the problem sometimes is because I don't understand it, I don't know how to celebrate it. And so I watch as she sacrifices and she gives herself for her kids. And while it stresses me out and drains me to watch her sacrifice, in a way, she's got this like somewhere deep down in her heart, like she's got this understanding this is her calling.
Yeah.
And so though she does it and though she's exhausted, there's a sense of pride and a sense of joy that she does it with. You know, I would say she's got a grace for that season, right? For sacrificing and raising young ones. And so I think that's the biggest word.
Sacrifice. I like it.
Yeah. So I think that's been the biggest thing I've been learning because I thought I understood parenting until we went from 1 to 3. And then you realize you don't know anything. And I'm still trying to learn. So,
right.
yeah.
Right. Thank you. Dave, what about you? What do you
Uh-oh, pressure's on!
you know, the couch is looking mighty comfy. No, I'm kidding. I love you so much. No, but, and like I said, we're going to keep it hot. We're going to keep it humble, open, and transparent. So when you hear the word motherhood, like, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing that comes to my mind is my mother and how she was when we were coming up. And I would say my word is patience. Because there were also 4 of us.
Oh, yeah.
The older 2 were twins. I was the middle child, the forgotten one. And then there was the baby. And how much she did basically on her own. And I had to watch. And it was just crazy just to see because, I mean, you know my dad. You know how crazy and silly he is. He was not always like that. My dad is an ex-Marine. And I'd say up until high school, he was there, but he wasn't there. And then he gave his life back to Christ, and he changed to what he is now. So my mom pretty much had all 4 of us on her own.
And twin babies at the same time, like feeding, like, it's not like an age gap. It's like
cleaning, and feeding.
There were 2 when I was born. Or two,
but
yeah, 2.
still, she still had to get from like newborn to 2, like at once. Like we have him 1 at a time,
Right.
Like you go and you put 2 and then triplets. God bless you, women.
Well, that's the fear of ours because my mom's a twin. Lauren's grandparents are all twins.
Yeah, see.
Like all of them. And so we skipped that twin train.
They say it skips a generation. So.
But if it skips and if it pops in the way it does, then I say 4 and no more. But if we mess around too much, we might be hitting 5. And I don't know about that sacrifice. Like, I don't even know how we're going to do it. So,
right. That's intense.
Twins. You have to have patience for twins.
You have to have patience for kids, period.
You're right. You're
like,
right.
what?
You're right.
Kids, man.
And then the dynamic of raising a girl versus raising a boy.
Ooh.
Because
that's rough.
I would say she was fortunate, but I'm not sure that the twins were a girl and a boy. But yeah,
she got
with
a
my
double dose.
with my older brother, it was rough. He was a hoot. But yeah, I was guilty by association.
Well,
that's right.
Well, I mean, the forgotten child. Of course, you were guilty by association. You were like, oh wait, you did it too.
That's awesome.
All right, so now being an adult, right? And
Most of the time.
right.
Am I there yet?
And looking back at the things that your mother did with you and your siblings, right? What are some things that you remember that stick out to you about her as a mother? Like things that you're just like, dang, like I appreciate that more. Like it's kind of like one of those aha moments. Like, what is that aha moment from your childhood that you see that your mom did, and you're just like, dang, like that's what being a mother is. That's what, like, sitting back and reflecting now.
Let's see. There's so many. I mean, I could tie that into looking at how you handle our kids, because watching my mom have all 4 of us active and doing things and having friends and taking us here and taking us there and taking us to school and making sure the grades are okay. And it's a lot.
I'm tired just hearing you say
it's
all
a
the things
lot.
that I do.
So that's what sticks out to me the most when I watch you, and I remember it's like my mom did that same thing every day of something, and she was never like just resting. She was always active.
What is rest?
I try to get you to rest.
What do people say? Oh, you sleep when you're dead. Nah, we need to put rest in there somewhere.
Sometimes I feel like God allows us to have like flus and things so we can get some rest. Lauren just went through one, and I was like, maybe you're not really sick. Maybe God's just giving you this time to rest because you need to just chill for a second. But the laundry, but the dishes,
all of
it can pile up and get worse. You need to rest. Yeah.
So what about for you? So what is something that you've seen your mother do that sticks out to you as that to me is the essence of motherhood, or that's something that like I hope that my daughter like carries with her.
You know, it's interesting. Growing up, I didn't understand my mom. Scripture tells us that her children will rise up and call her blessed. And I didn't do that most of the time. I didn't. I strongly rebelled against my mom many times because my mom was, the thing I remember the most, she was overprotective. And what I realized after growing up, becoming an adult, and then actually understanding, because she finally shared with me, was my mom was in an abusive relationship.
Oh, okay.
And so it was hard because she always protected me from my biological father, and she never painted a bad picture. So this entire time, she carried it.
Yep.
She was the target. And I never understood why she was overprotective, why she didn't let us go out, why she didn't let us do things, and I thought it was controlling. And so I think the thing that I've learned the most in watching my mom is, for younger, you know, for kids, for students, you don't know the why behind the what.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's good.
And so what I want to do, or what I hope, you know, even with my daughter, is that, first of all, I hope that the way we're raising her, Lauren and I, gives her confidence. Because I want her to be able to parent in confidence.
Yeah.
My mom parented through the lens of PTSD. She parented through the lens of fear.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of stuff that, and it wasn't her fault, but that's a lot of stuff that was passed down.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I realized that because of the lack of trust, my mom didn't have or trust a village to join her on the journey. And the biggest lesson that I learned in watching my mom is, we have to be okay with the village. It takes a village to raise your kids, right?
Yeah.
And it happens so many times in indigenous cultures. It happens in minority cultures and Hispanics. I mean, we're right.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, because of her experiences, she kind of closed the doors on her village.
Yeah.
And then she carried everything
by herself.
And she was exhausted. And then she was done by the time we got to high school. So we didn't really have mom in the picture.
Yeah.
And so I can stand here and call her blessed because now that I understand where she's coming from, I understand why she did what she did. But my hope really is for those, I mean, if you're struggling because you don't understand why your mom is the way she is, well, maybe you're lacking in understanding. And at the end of the day, even if your mom, I mean, Lauren is not perfect, you know, but the joke is she's perfectly imperfect. Because all moms feel unnoticed and unseen.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that more and more through watching my mom, hearing about my mom, and watching Lauren, you know, and there are days where she comes up to me and she goes, I just, why was I chosen to be her mom?
Yeah.
And I tell her, even though it doesn't make sense, because you were chosen for a reason.
Man.
You know?
Can we get a blueprint, please?
Yeah, right?
Can a stork bring down a blueprint?
Right.
Please and thank you.
Like, I wish they come with a manual, please. Like, can we get a reset button or on and off button or a mute button?
Like,
wait till you get to teenage years.
I'm not
Jesus. All right, what about you? So, what is one thing that you would say to encourage? Well, I'm your wife. So
I know.
To encourage,
kind of a biased question.
me. No, it's not a biased question. Because, or encourage.
Do I need to try not to look you in your eye? Because you're going to cry.
Can you not and just answer the question? They're going to learn that I am an emotional...
You are a crier.
You know, you did not have to co-sign.
Oh, sorry. I was a silent partner.
Goodness, man.
Nodding my head over here.
Right.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just silent partner. Yes,
Goodness.
yes.
Okay. Man. I'm listening.
You said one word of encouragement?
I mean, or a word.
A short answer?
You know, short answer.
A little short
Come
answer?
on, man.
Okay. What would I tell my darling wife who is sitting over here next to me? Pretty recently, there has been conflict with one of our children, and it has been a trying time, I know. But you got it. You got it. Keep pressing on. Although you might not think so, she loves you. She really does. She cares about you. She cares what happens to you. They all do.
Mm-hmm.
And I am here to help you through whatever happens. And I will always be here to help you through whatever happens.
All right.
Man, that got real thick right there. That was.
Woo! All right. You know, all this pollen in the air.
Yeah, it's just pollen.
It's just the
Good old pollen.
Allergetics.
Right,
Allergetics.
all the allergeticals. All right, so thank you guys so much for being here and making the sacrifices.
Yes.
I appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having me.
You so silly. So thank you. This has been episode 2 of This is Motherhood Unfiltered. Thanks for tuning in to This is Motherhood Unfiltered. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at thisismotherhood_unfiltered. Also, subscribe on YouTube at This is Motherhood Unfiltered. And don't forget to set up for notifications.